Hi guys, Frida here. Welcome to my channel, and today I thought maybe this would be the last video I do before an actual book review, because I haven't reviewed a book in a while. Well, one, that's because I wasn't reading the whole of April, and number two, it's because I just could not find the energy to read a book. But so far I've been able to read 2 books, so yay me. And I'll be reviewing them starting next week. I promise I'm going to start doing book reviews from the next week. But my video for today, I thought I would talk to self-publishing authors or someone who's thinking of becoming a self-publishing author. And this also goes for myself, because I've been battling between being a self-published author or going the traditional way. So I just have a few pointers which I have noticed or come across which might actually help someone who's already a self-publisher or someone who's trying to become a self-publisher. So I hope this is going to help. So I'm going to be reading the pointers on this piece of paper. I like writing things down, and I love having like nice stationery. I actually go to Paper Chase and I buy very nice stationery because it kind of gets me in the zone. So I'm going to be reading from here, and because I don't have glasses I might be squinting a bit. So anyway, number 1, write the book and tell your story. So obviously for you to become a self-publisher you need to write the book, and that could be any book you want. Whatever story you have in you is important. Write it. You know, you find your target market out there, and I always go by, if there is a book you want to read, write it. That's what Toni Morrison said, and that's my go-to quote all the time when I feel like, okay, this story is not very good. I just think, okay, Rudo, this is a story you would want to read, so write it. So write the book. Write for yourself also, because if you're the kind of person who writes for other people, the way they will respond to your work will kind of affect you, and we're going to talk about that on point number 6. But number 1, write the book, write the story, bear it all out. Like, write what you feel like you want to write, and from there onwards go with it, because there's so many different stories out there. It could be the same topic, but we all have different perspectives. So that's very important for you to be able to actually tell your own story in your own words, and you know, the world will adjust, because once you start writing you become a writer, and you don't necessarily have to go to a writing school, which is going to actually make point number 2 make more sense. But you don't need to be an acclaimed or have a degree in creative writing for you to become a writer. We've seen so many self-published books, so many books out there from people who've never been to writing school. It doesn't mean you don't have to go. If you can, by all means do, but this is actually for people who cannot afford to go to writing school or actually acquire degrees or go to those courses. I myself have been privileged enough to have like 3 courses where I've attended. The first one was through church. I think there's one which I paid for, and then the other one was through church. They're actually like, okay, you came to us the last time, I think you can do this for free. So they actually accommodated me to do it for free, but it was a bit pricey. So for those who are not able to attend writing schools or writing clubs or those kind of things, write your story. Okay, that's the first step. Write your story first. Get it out there, not as in publish it, but like on paper or wherever you're writing your story. Write your story first. That's the first step. Okay, and then from then onwards we'll actually talk about the other points. But number 1, as I said, write your story. So point number 2 is, please invest in good editors. So like I said before, you don't necessarily have to have gone to creative writing school for you to be a writer, but step number 2 is super important. You need to invest in a good editor. By a good editor, I mean, if you can afford, by all means, please go to a professional editor, because I've seen so many people, they've been talking about how they don't want to buy self-publishing books by self-publishers anymore, because they do not really care much about the grammar. Like, the grammar is very discouraging in a way, because I myself, for example, if I see a book which is not thoroughly edited or which has mistakes, it kind of puts me off, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who gets put off by bad grammar. So please, this is very important. Invest in a good editor. I know of a few editors out there. I'll try and leave the names of the editors, which you can reach out to at the bottom, the description thingy, so you can actually approach them and they can actually help you. I know there are other free ones. I'm not sure if they're still free at the moment, but I'll try and tag them below, so you can actually approach them, and people can actually help you to edit your work, because editing is super important. Anything else, you can have a bad cover, you can have even like the prologue, you might not even have a prologue, but grammar is super important. And I understand not everyone's first language is English. My first language is not English as far as I know, but just to put, if you want to write in English, at least put the effort to make sure that it's actually good grammar. You don't have to use like big words for it to be a good book, or for the grammar to be good. It could be just basic English, but make sure, by all means, please make sure the grammar is good, because most people get put off by bad grammar. Totally understand it. I myself too am that kind of person, unless if you're writing a book which the character is actually illiterate. For example, there's this book here, The Girl with the Louding Voice. So this is the book I'm going to be reviewing next week. I'm super excited, you guys. This was a very good book, and it actually got me out of the rut. Like, I didn't want to read, I couldn't find the energy to read, but after I read this book, I was like, okay, I couldn't like put it down for a while, and I think I finished it in like 4 days, which is actually a new for me, because I'm a slow reader. Because when I'm reading, I need to look at the themes, I need to understand what's going on, and then like I write it down, so that when I do the book review, at least I know what I'm talking about. But I was so engrossed in this book, I didn't want to finish it. And if you see me finishing a book in 4 days, considering I'm also going to work, just know I really enjoyed that book, because now I understand how people can actually read like 24 books in 24 days. I think there's someone who read 24 books in 24 hours. Anyway, that's for another video. But for today, as I was saying, the main character in this book, she's quite illiterate, so like her English is quite bad. I'll try and read the first sentence so that you guys actually understand how this can be perceived as bad grammar. But because you know the background, your mind is actually registered to your word, that, or to your head, sorry, that this character is actually illiterate, so you can be quite forgiving. The same goes with the character in Brian Chukwuka's Harare North. He was like illiterate, and it was like direct translation from Shona, which is a Zimbabwean language, to English. So this is like direct translation from Yoruba, which is one of the major languages in Nigeria, to English. So here's the first chapter. This first sentence is the first chapter. This morning, Papa called me inside the parlor. He was sitting inside the sofa with no cushion and looking me. Papa have this way of looking me one kind, as if he wants to be flogging me for no reason, as if I'm carrying shit inside my cheeks, and when I open mouth to talk, the whole place be smelling of it. So you can see that the grammar is not very good, but you know what she's trying to say. So this is like direct translation from the native language to English. So it's different because we know the character is illiterate, but if your book has to do with people who are not illiterate, who are actually literate, I think please make sure you get editors, talk to your editors, what exactly you're trying to say, because also your editors might not understand, so they'll come back to you and ask, okay, so what exactly are you trying to say here? So don't get offended when they do that, because writing a book is a lot. Okay, it's a lot. I saw it when I was writing my short stories. I hate editing. Okay, I remember I would send it to like a friend, then they would have to edit, and sometimes when I didn't have anyone to edit, I would have to edit it myself. And then afterwards, after I'd published, I had friends who would come to me and say, okay, Rudo, you made an error here. They would like take a screenshot and then like kind of show me where exactly I wanted to edit, where I needed to edit. So that was actually quite good that they spotted that, and then they came back to me, because I know how editing can be super daunting. So number 3, Number 3 is market your book. So you, of course, as the author, you're a self-publishing author, you have to market your book yourself. So I know if you're not someone who's into social media, I'm sorry, but you might need to be, because literally that's the major way in which you can publish your book. So let's say, for example, you've published your book, make reels, interact with other writers, like join book clubs, reach out to book reviewers, and just be like, okay, I published a book, would you mind reading and reviewing it, and what are your rate cards? Because most reviewers, this is like a job, so you might have to pay. It just depends with the reviewer and what kind of things that they do. And one of the writers who I like, who reviews books, not who reviews books, but who actually markets her own book, is Oluchi Wright. She is amazing. I had an Instagram live with her a few weeks ago. You'll find it on my page if you want to watch it. But she's amazing when it comes to marketing your books. She does podcasts, she does Instagram lives. You see her on the news. I think she was on the news in South Africa one time talking about her book. She puts a book out there each and every single day. She's like, oh guys, I wrote this book, buy my book. And most people would be put off by that. But I think that kind of marketing strategy is, let's say you keep seeing something over and over and over again, and then let's say out of nowhere it just pops in your head, then you're like, okay, I think I might want to buy this book. So I think it's a very great marketing strategy what she does. And also because it's a book, she's proud of it, so of course she's going to talk about it a lot, because it's a baby, it's normal. So if you're a self-publisher, put your work out there, reach out to book reviewers, reach out to other writers, make sure you have a community where you can also share your book and talk about your book. And there's so many different ways of marketing. You can, let's say, if there's an event, you can go there and you can sell your book. There's no shame in that. Because at the end of the day, your situation at home, okay? Doesn't matter what people think, because at the end of the day, the money's coming to your pocket and you've done something. You've literally created employment for yourself. So that's something to be very, very proud of. So make sure you market your work, even if it seems like people are getting annoyed by it. People will be people, but at the end of the day, you know yourself, you know what you've done, and go for it. Market your book the best way you can. And also watch videos on YouTube on how to market your own books. There are plenty of videos. Ask other self-publishing authors how they market their own work, because you also need to be on social media. I'm sorry, because I've met so many people who are not very active on social media. How are we supposed to know about your book if you don't advertise it, especially if you're self-publisher? People are not just going to come to you and say, oh, are you a writer, do you have a book? You actually need to say it out loud. And I'm going to take my own advice when my time comes, because I'm terrible at marketing. So please, by all means, make sure you market your own book. Point number 4. So number 4, interact with your readers. So you've marketed your book, right? People are buying your book and you want more people to keep buying your book. Make sure you interact with your readers, okay? So obviously people are going to come and be like, oh my gosh, I really liked your book. Or maybe someone will be like, oh, I didn't really relate to your book, or I really didn't understand it. That's fine, but make sure you interact with your readers. So that could be, you could be doing Instagram lives, you could be doing Q&As, you could be doing what else could you be doing? You could have, I know other writers, they're self-publishing writers who have their own YouTube channels where they actually talk about each and every single chapter, because now you're a reader, you're also going to be helping upcoming writers, because they'll be inspired by your journey, how you started out. I myself, I've mostly reviewed poetry when it comes to self-publishing. I don't think I've done a novel. I don't think so, really. I really don't think so. I've done poetry, definitely. Most of the self-publishing publishing books I've done. I'm sorry, it's been a weird day. I've done poetry. So with poetry, it's quite I think it's kind of easy to market, but not a lot of people are into it. But you just need to find your market, target market. Again, there's that. But yeah, with interacting, do takeovers on different pages. I know there's Palisa Creatives. They also like accommodate people who want to talk about the things. If they're like a Zimbabwean, how do I say this? It's not a company, but they're Zimbabwean. So most of the people who come on their page is like Zimbabweans in different countries, and then they talk about their journey and then what it means, like having your identity, how it comes out through your art and that kind of thing. So but I'm pretty sure there are other pages which you can also go to, whether you're African or you're non-African. You know, there's so many people who you can reach out to. And yeah, interact with your readers, interact with other writers, and make sure that you talk about your work. And in doing so, you're also learning and you're also evolving, and then that actually equips you to be ready for your next work, or for you to know the kind of mistakes you won't make again when you're about to publish another book. So make sure you interact. Interaction is super important. Talk to the people who read your books, like emails. Make sure you respond to their emails. It sounds like it's a lot, which it is, but it's super important for you to interact, because people are now exposed to you. You don't necessarily have to put your personal business out there. It's more to do with the book. So make sure you interact by all means possible. Point number 5. So this could be a before or after thing which you should do when you want or are a self-publisher. So this is to join book clubs. So I know with this whole thing of lockdown, we're still pretty much on lockdown on this side of the world. There's Clubhouse now, so you kind of like look for the kind of rooms that align with what you're doing, and you get advice from there. There's always room for you to learn. And you can also join book clubs where you can talk about your own book and what people think. It can be quite scary because not everyone's going to like your work. We're going to talk about that on step number 6. But yeah, make sure that you join other communities which have to do with writing, also reading, and also, let's say if you now want to be like, if you want to look for areas where your kind of literature is not fully exposed, or people are not fully exposed to the kind of literature that you write, you can also reach out to them, because people are into different things. You never know, they might like it, even if they don't, but they know. Okay, so yeah, make sure that you join certain book clubs which align with what you're doing, and don't be shy. I'm also taking this advice, by the way, because I am terrible at marketing myself. I will not say anything. I remember when I started this YouTube channel, I did not tell anyone. I was just like, okay, I've started a YouTube channel, and that thing is only when I posted it on Facebook. And because people know I'm not that much into like showing or talking about myself, they came in droves. But I did not tell anyone. Even with my blog, I had my blog for 3 years. I forgot about it. Even when I started writing short stories, I did not tell anyone, because I was just like, okay. But now, obviously I need to also engage myself. I also need to like, join all these groups, and also interact with people, for people to know, because so many opportunities come from there. You want these opportunities, you want to like interact with different people, because you never know where to get you. So make sure you also network. That's very important. So things like Clubhouse will help you to like network. Book clubs, as soon as we open, I'm going to be going to like book clubs and book events. Okay, I hope we're going to have like a book reviewers kind of like thing, an event. I'll be super excited to join that and go to that. But yeah, it's very good for you to network, and I'm always of the notion of networking across. It's an Issa Rae saying that she said that it's very important for you to network across, because you have a foundation, and then from then onwards you keep building and building and building and building, that even when you fall, not like literally but figuratively, if you fall, you still have a foundation. So it's very important for you to interact with other readers, self-publishers, and then you never know, maybe publishing houses will actually approach you and they want to like help you with your book. So make sure that you interact. Okay, number 6, brace yourself for criticism. So I think this goes without telling. We live in a world where there's social media, where people talk, not everyone's going to like your work, and that's super okay. That's something I had to learn not so long ago, but now I'm okay with it. Of course, it kind of hurts, like if someone says they don't like it, of course it hurts, but it each to their own. Not everyone's going to like your work, and that's fine. But also make sure that not everyone is going to like your work, and that's okay. Write the book that you want to read. Write for yourself. So it's super important for you to know why you're reading, so that when someone says they don't like it, you know why you did it. So sometimes criticism is not always to offend. Sometimes it's also to help to build, but it also depends on how the person is saying it, because the context sometimes it really matters, the tone it really matters. I know as people be like, oh, tough love. Okay, tough love is not for everyone. Okay, not everyone responds to tough love in that kind of manner. So this also goes to book reviewers or anyone who's just watching this video. When you criticize someone's work, like, make sure it's coming from a good place, and also be mindful of how you say it, because it also matters. And as the author, make sure you don't take everything as an offense. I know it can be very hard. We live in a very, I wouldn't say sensitive era, but people we are now, we have a better understanding of talking and relating and communicating with people. I think you can find a better way of talking to someone, or how you actually criticize them. So that's very important. So like, to the writer, not everyone's going to like your work, even if there will be bad reviews, but also learn from the bad reviews, okay, so that you kind of get better. If you want to take it, you don't necessarily have to, but if you want to take it, take the advice. If not, you do not have to, because you know the why. You know why you wrote the book, you know who the book is for. And yeah, that's very important. Like, criticism for me, I was so scared of criticism when I started writing. You guys, you have no idea. This is why I never told anyone I was writing. It took a very long time for me to actually acknowledge myself as a writer, because I used to say, a writer is supposed to have gone to writing school, a writer is supposed to have a degree in writing, a writer is supposed to have published something, a writer is supposed to be, have like a hard copy. So it took a while for me to actually refer to myself as a writer. Soon to come when I actually start referring to myself as a screenwriter, but you never know, it takes time. But yeah, as I was saying, brace yourself for criticism. It will come, but take the ones which you need, the kind of advice you need, and the others, the ones you don't necessarily need, you don't have to. So yeah, so last but not least, celebrate your work. Okay, take time to actually say, okay, I wrote a book, I'm super excited, this is an achievement for me. If you see it that way, this is an achievement for me, I'm super proud of myself. Take time to celebrate yourself, because writing a book is not easy, you guys. Okay, it's the writing which is not easy. This whole publishing thing, there's someone who told me that this whole publishing thing is not as daunting as actually writing the book. You hear people, it takes them 5 years, 7 years to write amazing books. I remember Yagasi, the one who wrote Homegoing, my favorite book, she said it took her, I think, about 5 years for her to actually write this book. So you can imagine, something so small takes you forever to write, because there's your mind telling you this, and then there's editing, and then there's proof editing, proofreading, proof editing. There's a lot that goes into it, but it takes a lot. Your brain goes through the most when you're writing a book. So acknowledge that you've done this amazing thing, and your book is your baby. You want to take care of your baby. You might not want to publish it, you might not want, of course, if people say hurtful things about it, it will affect you, but celebrate your work. Rest in that you've done an amazing job, you've done a great job, you've been able to birth something from scratch, from just an idea, and then now you can actually touch it, read it, and understand it. So I think it's very amazing for you to celebrate your book, celebrate your work, celebrate your achievement in the way that you can. Rest. I know as writers, it's very hard for us to like sit down and rest and actually be impressed or happy for ourselves, because we're already thinking about the next project. Okay, like, you've published this, now what's the next step? What am I going to do now? And I struggle with that myself, but we all learn, and by all means, celebrate your work. So those are my 7 points to self-publishers. Of course, there are plenty more. By all means, if you have any more pointers, leave them in the comment section, then we'll interact, and they'll also help someone who's also thinking about self-publishing a book. And I'll also take the advice, because I'm also caught in between self-publishing or actually going the traditional way. So until next time, you guys, thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. I know I've been missing for a while, but I'm back now, and I'm going to try and stick to my weekly reviews because I've been slacking. But anyway, I'll be back. So thank you so much for watching the video, and have an amazing week. See you again next week. Bye.